top. The wind probably the one troublesome factor. An air of expectancy all the way around this ground. And dusty hair as Steve Fenwick looks around just to check the positioning of his players. Dusty hair ready to start the game for England. Hair kicks off. And Gareth Davies. And that's a nice, comfortable start. He got it at the second shot and he got in a lovely kick. So there's the Welsh 22, and right at the back of the line out, the two new caps. David Cook, number 7 for England. And Rodri Lewis just having a wee look to see where John Horton is standing to get his angle right. Wheeler throws, Goldclough palms, David Cook ties it in, loses it, Lewis has it. Brynmore Williams, Gareth Davies. Almost on halfway, and Brian Anderson, the referee, immediately insisting on the gap down the middle. And dangerous use of the foot there by the look of it, because it definitely was a penalty offence. It wasn't to do with the actual distances between the players at the line out, which would have been a free kick. This is a penalty offence. And Brian Anderson just telling the culprit that he saw it and to calm it down. And that's a good way to start as well. Well, this is a fellow that the Welsh support have reason to remember. Dusty Hare, who kicked that crucial penalty goal that won the game at Twickenham last season. He's not far inside the Welsh half, so it's a very long kick indeed. A blustery, nasty win for goal kickers. And no silence for Dusty Hare as he prepares to kick. Doesn't really get the distance, hitting the bar and coming back. Steve Fenwick in trouble. Lewis drives in there in front of the Welsh posts. There he goes, number 6. So Wales not responsible for the stoppage. And here's a fascinating area of the game today. England slightly the heavier, both packs with a lot of knowing forwards. Brynmore Williams did well to get it away to Gareth Davies. So Brynmore Williams, amazing to think that he's played 3 times for the Lions in '77, and yet this is only his second cap. 10 metres outside the Welsh 22. Peter Wheeler, the thrower. From the middle from Bowman, out to Horton. Throw in not straight. That's going to be one of the problems today for throwers and forwards. Well, that was interesting. Alan Phillips struck very quickly, but Wales were turned slightly and just lost control of it. Two old stagers on that far side. Fran Cotton, his 31st international, and of course Graham Price in his 30th. Jeff Squire, number 7, trying to help. That's good Welsh forward play. Ball held, Wales going forward. So the Welsh forwards retrieving that situation. Brynmore Williams and Steve Smith, the 2 scrum halves, stocky, strong players. Good pick up there by Gareth Williams. Now out to Davies from Brynmore. That's found a bit of space. John Carlton has it. David Nicholas tackles him. Dave Richards is there as well. Cross comes Paul Dodge. So there's John Carlton, who became the first Englishman since 1924 to score 3 tries in an international at Murrayfield last season. Bill Beaumont, known to his pals as Scuttle. Opposite Jeff Wheel at number 2. Peter Wheeler went down. I think holding the ball in. So Gareth Davies. Oh, that's a screamer. They say that Gareth Davies hasn't been at his best form, but that was a superb kick. They're all coming back because Jeff Wheeler's injured on halfway. This is Jeff Wheel, this great man mountain who's done so much as captain of Swansea in the last couple of seasons. Mr. J.P.R. Williams in charge, orthopaedic surgeon. That's a real lock-forwards face and a lock-forwards build. One of the great maulers in the business.
Well, it's been a very intriguing start. Territorially, obviously, England have had a little better of the first 5 or 10 minutes. But, of course, Wales have made use of that time in settling down, and it has meant that Brynmore Williams and Gareth Davies have possibly had 3 or 4 passes together, which has meant that they've had a good feel of the ball now. And Gareth has been able to utilise the kick to test the wind as well. But it seems that England are obviously going to prove very difficult, especially in the line-out, where Colclough has already made his presence felt. And if Jeff Wheel is unfortunately unable to carry on, it's going to, which it looks as it is at the moment, it means that Wales's problems are going to be highlighted with his omission from the field of play.
This is always a tremendous problem for a big man, an ankle injury. They can sometimes get away with something else, but he's over 16 stones. Jerry Lewis there, the physiotherapist, doing that job for the Welsh team for the 89th International. But Wales lucky enough to have as their replacement lock forward Alan Martin. And it'll certainly be a great moment for Alan Martin if he comes on, because he would then become the most capped Welsh lock of all time. And there's big Alan Martin of Aberavon, just warming up, waiting for the call. The drill, of course, is that Dr. Jack Matthews has got to decide that Wheel cannot continue before the replacement comes on. Wales down to 14 players. John Scott on his home ground here at Cardiff, driving on, and back from Smith to Horton. That's a fine kick. So John Horton has made a confident start as well. The sun trying to come out here at the National Stadium, but some anxiety. Phil Blakeway at the front of the line out for England. Bill Beaumont behind him, Fran Cotton there at number 3, then Maurice Colclough, and Gareth Williams is against Colclough. But it was knocked back there by Clive Davis. Throw in not straight. Now England will want to take advantage of 7 Welsh forwards. Gareth Williams has switched from number 8, of course, to the flanker position on England's put-in. Oh, that was a brilliant bit of work. Brynmore Williams, Lewis on the 10 metres line. Knocked down there by Dodge. Brynmore Williams kicks. It's a nasty one for Dusty Hare. And instead it was Mike Slamon. That was a strong psychological blow by the Welshman, because although Slamon is the safest of defenders, the Welsh forwards did tremendously well there, short-handed at that scrummage. Inside England's 22. Alan Phillips with the throw. Clive Davis and Gareth Williams are the men, and Gareth Williams gets hands to it. Brynmore Williams can't. Graham Price does. But obstruction there at the back. I think the referee was pointing to Maurice Colclough. And Steve Fenwick, the skipper himself, is going to have the shot. The distance fairly comfortable for a man of Fenwick's power. So a great chance for Fenwick, the captain, to put Wales ahead. Hoist it, far enough, it's a beauty. Nil, 10 minutes. And Jeff Wheel is back on, having got a stud mark on the ankle. So all back to square one, except that Wales are 3 points in the lead. Here restarts. Very good blanket there by the Scarlets, and good mauling there by Alan Phillips. Brynmore Williams, Gareth Davies. And already a great uplift all round this ground. There's been a wee bit of pessimism in Wales over the last week or so, but in great voice at the moment. 10 metres line, John Scott bounds, Goldclough charges, the England forwards go that moment. Now it's laid back from Smith, out to Horton. Horton probing into the corner, what a kick. Well, England with this immediate riposte. JPR Williams marshalling the forces at the back there. Williams taking the standoff place. Peter Wheeler, can he get it down? The pick up by Goldclough. Goldclough, touch and go. The referee was right on the spot. Touch in goal, 22, drop out to Wales. This is just how close it was. Peter Wheeler, the hooker, driving first of all, and then watch big Goldclough here, all 18 stones of him. It was Clive Davies who really, and Brynmore Williams, who helped to hold him out. Marvellous positioning by the referee Brian Anderson there, and here's a real worry for England, because that looks like a Fran Cotton hamstring. Don Gatherer, the English physiotherapist, in attendance.
Well, I thought that showed how much England have come on in the last 2 years, because after being stung by that 3 points from Steve Fennick, they're not just disintegrated as they've tended to do in recent years, but they had a magnificent rumble from Goldclough and Beaumont, and then a majestic kick from Horton, which put them very close to the Welsh line, which shows that they're here to mean business.
So England down to 14 now. A very sporting clap there for Fran Cotton, this remarkable prop forward who came back from that terrible blow in South Africa for his 31st international. Up goes John Scott to the dropout, and that's a very fair decision. It was Gareth Williams who really did deliberately put his body on the wrong side. So a chance for Dusty Hare to tie the score. It's his angle and distance. So Dusty Hare with reasonably good under foot holding there for his kick, but as I say, that gusting wind, this would be a good one if he could slot it. Oh, he tapped it neatly, but just outside that right hand post. He really tried to stroke that one over. He didn't want to get it up in the air, but it stays at 3 points to 0 for Wales with just about 15 minutes of the first half over. Gareth Davies restarts. Ian Stevens, and number 20 is Austin Shippard, and I tell you this, what a moment it's going to be for this lad. The Bristol prop forward at 30, a replacement for the first time And here he is getting his first cap. He must really be on top of the world, because he never expected even to be an English replacement at the beginning of this season. He's played for the South and Southwest against the All Blacks, so Shepherd, a good, staunch, powerful West countryman. And there for his first cap. It's the Welsh 22. Wheeler throws, knocked back by Wheel. Brynmore Williams, Davis on the run, out there to Dave Richards. Richards to Fenwick. Fenwick, has it gone too far? Well, from inside the 22, he was okay. So that's halfway. Number 8, second from the back for Wales, is Gareth Williams of Bridgend, who have a tremendous duo with John Scott, his opposite number there. But it was Maurice Goldclough, through goes Alan Phillips. Steve Smith waits. Welsh hands try to stop him. Smith to Horton. That's not far enough forward, but Horton's run them onside. Up there comes Slemon. Referee's whistle has gone, and it's a penalty. It's an off. Bit of obstruction. Steve Smith. Wheeler up. Pickup was by Rafter. He's in there somewhere with the ball. Smith probing. Minutes of the first half gone, still that penalty goal between them. Inside the Welsh 22. Rodri Lewis of the South Glamorgan Institute of Higher Education, number 6 at the back there. Brynmore Williams, half caught by Goldclough, eventually put down by Wheeler. But the ball must have been knocked forward by an English hand. Strike by Phillips. Steve Smith trying to get into a position, but he must keep both feet behind the ball when it's in the scrimmage. Well, that was either for offside or for holding someone back. And Jeff Wheel once again asking the ref probably about time off to tend to his injured ankle.
What was fascinating there, Bill, of course, was to see Brynmore Williams, a wise old head. Although people realise that it's only his second cap for Wales, and obviously his first encounter at the Arms Park, he's been around for a very long time. And we saw him there under extreme pressure from the English back row and Steve Smith, getting them trapped offside, which has relieved the pressure for Wales.
And little problems for England perhaps at their scrummage. They're struggling to hold it steady. Well, no doubt Alan Martin of Aberavon will be watching this with beating heart, because he's the replacement of Jeff Wheel, all right, and Gareth Davis. That is a monster. Hasn't found touch. Dusty Hare did well to take it in this wind. Running to put them all onside. JPR Williams with his new haircut. Brynmore Williams hoists across. John Scott underneath. A great take by the Cardiff captain. That's a penalty for going over and not allowing fair release. Well, John Scott certainly was roughed up there, but it was a great bit of work by him, without a doubt.
It looked as if Scott looked very disappointed there, that he was trying to signify to the referee that the Welshman went over. But it was such a magnificent drive by the Welshman that they actually left him behind with the ball on the Welsh side.
In any case, it certainly gives Steve Fenwick the chance to kick another captain's penalty goal. Fenwick, who's kicking pretty well lately. But underneath that one a bit, and really he almost fluffed that one much too high, no power, and so it stays at 3-0, and we're halfway through the first half, 20 minutes gone. John Horton. It's a bit far, Brynmore Williams. He's such a powerful lad, this Welsh scrum half. Dangerous use of the foot, and a penalty to England. Dusty here. This is JPR. Knocks off Sleman. Well, I tell you, when JPR is at full throttle, even today when he's what, 31, just watch this. Boom, a fair shoulder charge, nothing dirty about that, whatever. Alan Phillips striking well. The Welsh scrummage holding fairly well. Brynmore Williams, not his best pass. Gareth Davis having to go a loud ball as they thought that Cook played Gareth Davis late. Here in front of his own posts. The referee has seen the late obstruction and has given the double penalty, in other words, where the offence occurred or where the ball alighted. And I must say that Brian Anderson, the little Scottish referee, has started in the right mood. There it is. Always very difficult to judge, was the man launched or not? But the referee decides that he obstructed late, and Steve Fenwick has this 30-metre shot. Gareth Davis, a pretty resilient little character, bit of rubber ball about him, and Steve Fenwick with the chance to make it 6-0. Just hooked. Well, certainly it's a difficult day for kicking, but there's no doubt that Wales could well have been 9 ahead by now. Horton restarts. Price, Brynmore Williams, Gareth Davis, JPR on the run, a great tackle by Rafter. Wheel has it, now it's back. Brynmore Williams, Gareth Davis again, manufactures the kick beautifully. Great work by Wheeler, Dusty here in real trouble. A great chance for Wales, and the try has been given. And it's Clive Davis who has driven over. Gareth Davis's kick was absolutely perfect. Now Peter Wheeler, covering back there, was beaten by the bounce. It was a nasty one. He gave it to Dusty Hare. Hare decided that the kick couldn't be got there. The pass went to ground. And the feed there and the drive. Great support work by the Welsh forwards because Wheel was there as well. Fenwick has kicked the goal. And Wales are ahead by 9 points to 0 with 24 minutes of the first half gone. What a moment for a fellow in only his second international. Coming back to the side after playing against Australia in '78, Clive Davis, the try scorer.
I think that Dusty Hare, the man kicking off here now, is the one really to blame because he should have put it away first time.
So Hare restarts to Gareth Davis. Hasn't found touch. Horton. JPR waits. This is his 54th international, and he looks as secure and composed under the high ball as he did in his very first in 1969. 5 metres outside the Welsh 22. Wheeler throws long to John Scott. Smith gives it to Bowman. Steve Fenwick was up there with the tackle, but going over the top, and it's a penalty to England. Now this is still a fairly long kick for Hare, even though it's only 10 metres or so outside the 22. But he'll want to slot this one just to erase from his memory that delayed touch kick. Pushing it through, and it's there. So Dusty Hare reaches his half-century of points for England. He's kicked 49 up until today. That's his 52 points in 9 internationals, and it cuts the deficit to 9 points to 3 with 26 minutes of the first half gone. Wales certainly taking charge of the proceedings. They're lively and alert. Gareth Davies restarts. Up there goes Scott. Bowman comes in. England having unaccustomed difficulty in clearing the ball. Horton in all kinds of trouble. Well, it was Welsh forward pressure that created that. England couldn't clear it, and Steve Smith might have been better advised to just chip it up the touchline. But it's given Wales another tremendous attacking position, and England, I think, have been penalised for collapsing the scrummage. That's Austin Shepherd, the new cap at prop forward, playing on the tight head. England, of course, having the problem of switching Blakeway, the normal tight head, over to the loose head in Cotton's absence. So Steve Fenwick nine points to 3 Wales lead, and Steve Fenwick with a chance well within his range and ability. Oh, it's a superb kick. Wales 12, England 3. Steve Fenwick 140 points. With about 12 minutes to go to half-time, and that's a very handy 9-point cushion for Wales and for the skipper here, Fenwick.
Although England's preparation for this match has been very thorough, what has led to their downfall so far are the little basic mistakes they are making.
Here restarts offside. So a bit of over-anxiety on the part of the England forwards has spoiled another chance of digging deep into Welsh territory. Notice in the front row, Austin Shepherd is over here on the tight head side against Ian Stevens, so that Phil Blakeway has had to switch from tight head to loose head. He can play both, but he's played his Grand Slam matches last season as a tight head. And of course he's against the best tight head in the world in Graham Price. So there's a problem there for England in their scrummage. Nice pick-up by Squire, out from Brynmo Williams to Gareth Davies. That's another tortuous kick. Here inside his own 22. And Dusty Hare, who's a pretty easy Aussie lad, and he's son of the soil, and he doesn't get upset by much, but he's certainly under pressure here. It's the England 22, David Cook number 7 at the tail there, the blonde Cook in his first cap. Rodri Lewis number 6 alongside him. Good catch there by Gareth Williams. John Scott was just on the wrong side. Williams did well to take it through. And really, Wales are undoubtedly calling the tune at this moment. Williams is striking like a cobra. He's so quick. Referee looking for the offside. Explaining perhaps handling in the scrummage, but it's a penalty. And here Wales have clipped their line out. Defending a 9-point lead, 12 points to 3, 10 minutes to half-time. Gareth Williams, John Scott driving. Steve Smith. Smith through. And Rafter at his side. Cook is there as well. That was much more like the kind of thing England have been managing in practice. They just put together a neat little bit of work there. John Scott making the initial thrust, and then Smith dummying and fighting his way up. Rafter and the other flanker Cook in support. Oh, and the England scrummage is in awful trouble. A great Welsh heave that was. Out to Smith. JPR going back, it's a nasty one. Caught this time by Mike Sleman, who has felt the power of that Williams frame in this match. Peter Wheeler throwing. They're 10 metres from the Welsh line. Hoisting high. Cook goes down. Laid back there from Bowman. Smith to Horton. Horton checking with a drop goal. The dummy in the switch. Neat little kick ahead. Brynmo Williams up. That's the Welsh goal line, and it's a penalty. Not releasing the ball. Peter Wheeler, I think, complaining that England wanted the ball a lot quicker than that, perhaps just to have a quick tap penalty and a drive for the line. But in fact, Bill Bowman has asked. Bowman fed it back beautifully there from that maul. John Horton, you'll notice, was going to drop the goal. Gareth Davies was too close. Horton chipped ahead. Brynmo Williams was up, and then he had to release the ball when he hit the ground. So here with a chance to cut the deficit. Again, trying to keep it low. It's a good one. Mike Sleman gives him a little clap, and Dusty Hare's second penalty goal cuts the deficit to 12 points to 6, with about 7 minutes to go to half-time. And Fran Cotton very pleased indeed with that penalty goal that puts England back in the picture. Gareth Davies, John Scott almost misjudged it. Bowman has got it now. In goes Coldclough. Steve Smith has a look. It's a penalty, I think, for going round on the wrong side. Steve Smith. Steve Smith used for that kick because he's a good, strong, left-footed kicker. And to the right touchline he gets the spin on. That's Phil Blakeway, a Grand Slam prop forward. He's played 4-1-4 for England. Phillips kidding on with the throw. John Scott, Horton. This is out, Dodge gives it to Woodward. This is Sleman. Sleman. Nice bit of running by Mike Sleman, and a neat little kick ahead, beautifully judged. And so England stretching to try and get on level terms before half-time. That's the Welsh 22. Phillips throws, up goes Wheel. Brynmo Williams running into John Scott. It's losing control. And England with the put-in. English scrummage held better there. John Scott, in goes Cook to help the drive. That's the New Zealand tactic. Now it's Beaumont burrowing in there like a giant mole. Back it comes to Smith, to Horton along the line to Woodward. This is Dodge. Dodge going for the line. Dodge outside. What a brilliant try for Dusty Hare, the fullback. And what a comeback for the fullback here. It was Billy Beaumont who really won the ball back. Smith to Horton. Then it was Woodward who missed out one of his lads, but Dodge saw the gap, and Hare's running as a wing three-quarter from fullback was absolutely spot on. So I tell you, he'll be puffing a bit to take this goal kick, but once you've scored a try as a fullback, it's lovely also just to have the chance of levelling the score. Dusty Hare with this chance to tie the score. Just outside. So Wales are still ahead by 2 points, 12 points to 10.
And we see here a beautifully conceived ploy by the English backs. And of course, it left David Nicholas really not quite sure whether to come in for the man or whether to stay out with Dusty Hare. And JPR, of course, covering his man, allowed Dusty Hare to come through on the outside.
So we've just restarted, 3 minutes to go to half-time, 12-10, Wales in the lead. And that try by Dusty Hare certainly will have lifted England, who were just having a bit of trouble in putting it all together. As close as that with half-time almost on us. Not straight, free kick. This is Paul Dodge, who is a very powerful left foot. Sliced it though. Gareth Davis. Oh, what a return. With interest. So we're just outside the England 22. Wales there with Rodri Lewis at the back, then Gareth Williams, then Jeff Squire in front. Smith just gets past Phillips, but runs into the rest of the Welsh forwards. Rodri Lewis, number 6, standing off there, just awaiting developments. Ball held, and Wales going forward and have the advantage of the put-in. Rodri Lewis always playing on the open side, the wide side for Wales, to use his tremendous speed about the field. Gareth Williams, half caught by Colclough, nicely back, Brynmo Williams. Gareth Davis along the line there to JPR. David Richards, who gave him the pass. Now it's Gareth Davis. Gareth Davis outside to Nicholas. Nicholas, a tricky, neat little runner, still outside the England 22. A great tackle by Dusty Hare. Now England at the moment have no fullback, but they don't need it because they've a big tough scrum half walled Steve Smith. The tackle there by Clive Davies, the Welsh try scorer. Jeff Wheel at the front, Gareth Williams at the back, trying to force England to leave only 2 men in the line, but notice as soon as they stretch it, Bill Beaumont makes it 3. John Scott at the tail, Steve Smith. Offside against Colclough. Big Maurice Colclough, you can have some sympathy because it's the natural inclination is to go for the ball, but it was played by his own player behind him. So it's Steve Fenwick, the most capped Welsh centre of all time. Captain for the second time in a major international. Fenwick then trying to stretch the Welsh lead, but failing, and it stays at 12 points to 10, and we're just moving into injury time at the break. John Horton restarts. Up there goes Colclough. John Scott had it, now it's Colclough driving. Runs into Gareth Williams. Rodri Lewis and Jeff Squire standing off, patrolling the fringes. Squire realised that he could maybe get the ball. Cook kicks on, the pick up by Fenwick. Fenwick half checked by Beaumont. Nicely laid back from Squire. Brynmore Williams, Gareth Davies. Davies to David Richard. Brilliant running by the Welsh centre. Outside to Clive Davies in front of the English posts. Now it's back to Brynmore Williams. Richard again, kicking for the corner. Across there goes Wheeler. John Horton is there. Well, that was a flash of vintage David Richards. That's why Wales switched him to the centre, just for that electrifying pace of his. The referee's whistle has gone for the end of the first half. Wales ahead by 12 points to 10. Could well have been much further in the lead, but England have fought back with that very fine try by Dusty Hare, who scored all their points, and it's still very much a game. Know that at one time England really were struggling in that first half, but must feel that England are in with a tremendous chance of perhaps winning their first game here since 1963. Certainly a great hubbub all round the ground here. The feeling of anticipation and tension you can cut with a knife, as Gareth Davies prepares to start the second half. So Gareth Davies going for the long one out of play. John Horton just letting it go past. And so the first dropout of the first half goes to England. The second half goes to England. That shows you what an exciting first half it's been. John Horton then, who recovered from a wee bit of a shaky start and has looked much more in command. That's not a good kick though, much too far. Brynmore Williams with a bit of room. Runs into John Scott, lays it back well. Jeff Squire has it. Welsh forwards doing a bit of percussion rolling round the side. Now it's Brynmore Williams to Steve Fenwick. Manufactured the kick well. Clive Woodward was the lad back there, but that was nicely improvised by Steve Fenwick. Saw the little gap and put in what was almost a grubber kick. Jeff Wheeler at number 2, Clive Davies at 4, and Gareth Williams right at the back. Alan Phillips throwing, using Gareth Williams at the tail. Squire driving on, down goes Graham Price. The referee's whistle had gone for a slight nudge forward. This is a very tense moment indeed for England, because Wales are as close as that. England backs have gone right deep into their own in-goal area. John Scott, Steve Smith, Horton the dummy. That was clever, he almost left it too late. I'll bet he breathed a sigh of relief when he got that one away. Rodri Lewis breathing on the back of his neck as he put the kick in. Clive Davies and Gareth Williams against Colclough and Scott. John Scott was out the tail, but Colclough has it. Beaumont too. Peter Wheeler tries to clear up the edges. Back from Blakeway. Now it's Slemon. Robert Ackerman couldn't quite hold it. Mind you, it was a very flat ball and coming at him tremendously quickly. England side showing calmness under pressure. Just on halfway, knocked down by Wheel. Brynmore Williams, Gareth Davies. They told me that he hadn't been kicking well, but Gareth Davis always was a big match man. It's the England 22. Wheeler throws through, went Clive Davis, down goes Rodri Lewis, David Cook with him. Neatly laid back, Brynmore Williams, David Nicholas. Everybody down at Straddy would be getting a bit excited there as David Nicholas got the chance to show his paces. He hasn't had many in this match. Still just outside England's 22. Great shove by Wales, but Brynmore Williams has stolen it, but I think he picked it out of the scrimmage. It was worth a little try because the ball was very close to the edge. So they're back up to halfway. David Cook at the tail for England, just looking at the alignment of the Welsh backs to check the angle of his departure. Rodri Lewis goes down, picked on there by Wheeler. Gareth Davis, David Richards. Steve Fenwick, referee waiting for advantage. It went to the wrong side. That's probably just a question of cold hands, you know. It's really very nasty out there, what with the gusty wind and the coldness, as the sun has gone. England just outside the Welsh 22. Welsh front row seems to be enjoying itself, but it's Smith. Smith feeding inside. Didn't go to hand. Penalty. Looked again. It might have been dangerous use of the foot. Ryan Anderson from Corstorphine with Edinburgh, having a very good match, showing his authority. Tremendous experience for him in his first international, major international as referee. And here's the distance and the angle for Dusty Hare. I tell you, he's a fellow who's enjoyed this match as well, because he scored all of England's points so far. 10 points for Dusty Hare, scored 34 of England's 80 Grand Slam points last season. Some bit of ill-mannered whistling around the ground, but Hare then, yes, he didn't quite hit it right. He's been trying to keep them low into the wind, but my goodness, that was a very useful kick for England. They go ahead for the first time in the match, 13 points to 12, about 6 minutes of the second half gone, and this lad has scored all 13. So that really has put it up to the Welshman now. This is the player really that I think Wales must look to for that little bit of magic that could pull something out. Gareth Davis. Dusty Hare kind of left it. Oh goodness, what a mess that was, as John Carlton tries to get it away. Referee waiting for advantage, decided that the ball was knocked forward. Hare and Carlton there, just a little bit of indecision perhaps, and a nasty little bounce as well. But it's given Wales a tremendous attacking position. Their scrummage has looked very strong. It's been an aggressive scrummage almost throughout the match. And Graham Price on this side, the best tight head in the world, holding it absolutely steady. Gareth Williams, I think, going for the pickup. They're allowed to go 180 degrees. Rodri Lewis trying to take it over. Now it's fed back. Brynmore Williams, Gareth Davis, Keith Fenwick. Fenwick going for the gap. tackled there by Dodds, kept it off. The ball must have hit the ground. He must have been tackled in the sense that he was held and the ball hit the ground, in which case he has to release it immediately. Here, JPR. Could have been a bit further forward, but it's not bad. Nicely back from Gareth Williams. The switch there to Richard. Now back to the Welsh forwards. Brynmore Williams. Gareth Davis with a drop goal. Oh, it's a beauty. What a game this is turning out to be. Watch how coolly he took this chance. He just had a little look, little adjustment, boom, and he knew it was there from the moment it left his foot.
What a perceptive brain that Gareth Davis has got. He knew that the situation was hopeless on his outside to move the ball, and within a flash decided that Wales not only needed the drop goal, but had committed the conversion as well.
Restarted through Dusty Hare, direct into touch, and Wales will be happy to scrummage. Thank you very much. Gareth Davis' third drop goal in a major international. Remember, he also had a couple against the Romanians that won the match for Wales. A lethal right foot. Good control by Gareth Williams, Brynmore Williams, Gareth Davis, JPR, Ackerman, inside to JPR, caught by Horton. Good crossfield coverage by David Cook, the England flanker there. But the referee had seen something at the scrimmage. Well, you can feel the buzz of interest here as Steve Fenwick makes his mark right on halfway. And just to let you see what he's got to do, must look like miles to him out there into that gusting wind. 50 metres to the goalposts. He's kicked them from this distance and further not so long ago. What a thump he gave it, but hooked. And so it stays at 15-13. 11 minutes of the second half gone. John Horton. Nicely back again from Bowman. Steve Smith. Jeff Wheel telling the Dutch judge where the throw-in should be, but that Dutch judge was actually Alan Hosey, the international referee. Part of the powerhouse of the scrimmage, Jeff Wheel and Bill Bowman, old rivals. Jeff Squire. Clive Woodward was in there, but it was knocked forward. So this is a stage rather like the stage early in the first half when England are just struggling to get into the game. Free kick, not straight. Steve Smith is all set for a little ploy here, but Bill Bowman says, look fellas, we're defending a Grand Slam and we've a good bit to go, so let's go for the territorial gain. Well, that was Dusty here, and he certainly hooked his kick. But the main thing for him was to find touch, so that Wales couldn't run the ball back at them. Clive Davis there, one of the... well, Ian Stevens in front of him there with the moustache in his first international, and Clive Davis in his second. John Scott and Gareth Williams having a tremendous battle there. Crowd thinking that that was handling in the ruck. Jeff Squire driving on. Beautifully laid back. Brynmo Williams, Gareth Davies, David Richard. The switch to Gareth Davies. Again, that prodding, probing, searching kick. But Dusty here, I'm sure the farmer from Newark and Nottingham, and of course from the Leicester club, will be relieved about that. Quick drop out by John Horton has gained a lot of ground. JPR in his own 22. Here, with a good catch on halfway. He's found a little bit of space. Dusty Hare almost up to the Welsh 22. And the Welsh players, for the first time in the match, I think, just caught, not asleep, but in a little bit of a dream there. Almost caught out. 2 points separating the sides. 14 minutes of the second half gone. Now John Scott, the pick up to Steve Smith. He's got Carlton, who was outside and came in. It was the kind of ploy that produced a fine try for Carlton against the Frenchman in Paris last season. The buzz around this ground here is really quite something. Brynmo Williams. And for a fellow who hasn't been kicking too well, I must say Gareth Davies is having a fine day. Ten metres outside the Welsh 22. Goldclough 5, Scott 8 for England, and Gareth Williams 8 for Wales. Great bit of catching by Gareth Williams. This is Jeff Squire. Alan Phillips, number 2. Just patrolling the fringe there to see what he could maybe do to help. Welsh 10 metres line. England trying to screw the scrummage, but Gareth Williams did well. He saw that Brynmo Williams was marked, so he took it on himself. He knew the red blanket would be there. And it's produced again. Gareth Davies making Dusty Hare chase across field. Back goes Mike Slemon. Hare with a lot of room and time this time. So those Welsh forwards producing some very useful breakdown ball, maul ball or ruck ball, just at timely moments. Jeff Squire, who captained Wales in the Championship last season. Phillips throws. Through there goes Scott. Cook. Cook was the man who fell. Scott the man struggling for it. Well, let's see what the Welsh scrummage can do here. Great plus marks for Ian Stevens, the new loose head prop on the far side from Bridgend, because that Welsh front row has looked very secure. And that was a marvellous bit of work for the Welsh forwards again. They've destroyed that English scrummage. England would have expected to win that ball, and it would have been useful ball. Instead, it's the Welshmen who have it. Gareth Davies to David Richards. Peter Wheeler goes down and is tackled there by Robert Ackerman. Robert Ackerman, who had that great game in defence against the All Blacks in his first international. Now this is a platform that England really want to stabilise. They've had one or two of their scrummages ruined. That's Scott driving with Cook and Rafter's help. Now it's Goldclough. Now it's Steve Smith. Too far. This is Steve Smith, the lad who was flown all the way out to South Africa to join the Lions and sat as replacement in the final test and didn't get a game. That's David Cook, the fair-haired flanker, the one new cap in the England side, Australian-born, but went to Haileybury. Wheel palms, Brynmo Williams. So they've judged the England 10 metres line. Scott holds and drives to suck in Brynmo Williams. Now it's back to Steve Smith. That's a better one. Oh, what a bad bounce for Wales, and a good one for Steve Smith. It's always been one of Steve Smith's fortes, that the kick, especially with the left foot, the stronger foot of his, and he judged that one well. Great roars around the ground of Wales, Wales. The support senses the danger, and this is an important throw for Alan Phillips so near his own line. Ball held. So can the Welsh forwards produce a real tidy ball here, or better still, can they themselves, for Wales, take it away? See how close the Welsh backs are to their own goal line. Well, Phillips has done his bit. The forwards have channeled it and done their bit. Brynmo Williams has done his bit. And need I tell you what Gareth Davis has done? That really was a simply marvellous kick by Gareth Davis. He was right in his own in-goal area. He had very little angle, and yet he's put them up almost to halfway. What a lift to his forwards and his side. Bit of obstruction there, putting the hand on the opponent's shoulder. Penalty to England. We're going into the last quarter of the match, 20 minutes of the second half over, and Wales still ahead by 15 points to 13. Well, it's a long, long way, but he's going to have a go. This is how far.
It was worth noticing there that he turned to Billy Bowman. I think Dusty Hare initially thought of kicking to touch, and I think it was Billy Bowman who said, "You've got nothing to lose, pal. Have a go at it."
Well, especially as you've kicked all 13 points. But this really has got to be a big thump from Dusty Hare. It's a long, long way. Booms. Doesn't look too bad. Has it got the legs? Oh, just off the crossbar again. JPR Williams out there to Nicholas, who couldn't hold it. Driving on there, and it was Paul Dodds who almost got the touch. And so, William Henry Hare of Nottingham and Leicester, not too unhappy really in a sense. The 3 points would have been nice, but the line out is a reasonable reward. There, Bowman sweeping the line. Now Smith must go open out here to Horton. Horton a little kick through. Steve Fenwick out in the open. Hare has to race back. Robert Ackerman is going up. Oh, and it's just made it. Fenwick, the quick throw to Price. Back to Brynmo Williams. Hare misses the tackle, but Peter Wheeler doesn't. This is a boiling cauldron, this stadium, at this moment. Jeff Squire, number 7, as Wales try to roll. Now it's Wheel. Gareth Davis, another teasing kick. Slimman, the man who was back along with Steve Smith. One moment breathing on the Welsh line, the next moment doing the same at England. Jeff Squire. Smith clears. And what a useful touch kick that was. Sale scrum half, who's playing in his 15th international, first capped against Ireland in 1973. It's John Scott, second from the tail, who captains Cardiff this season and has been in tremendous form for them lately. Phillips throws, wheel charges. But it's still a very useful situation for Wales. That's on the England 22. But he's Phil Blakeway operating on the loose head side, although he started on the tight head, switched when Fran Cotton had to go off. Gareth Williams, almost through, caught by Rafter. Well, the crowd obviously think that the put-in should have gone to Wales, deeming that they weren't responsible for the stoppage. But in doubt, the referee... Well, in fact, he wasn't in doubt. He believed that Wales had actually stopped play. Again, England trying the pick-up by John Scott. Now again, it's Steve Smith. So this is getting to the witching hour now. We've about 15 minutes of the match to go, and it's 15-13 to Wales. England, the Grand Slammers, haven't won here for 18 years, and this big man, Bill Bowman, knows it. Phillips throws, Squire went through, the throw-in not straight. England will opt for the scrummage, although they could take the throw if they wished.
I think England would be better off with a throw into the lineup, because they're getting a lot of trouble with Wales wheeling the scrummage.
Foot up against Peter Wheeler. Brynmo Williams, of course, they can't kick a goal directly because it's a free kick. Brynmo Williams from Phillips, now to Squire. Squire on the charge. Into the England 22. Brynmo Williams ferreting in there, gets it back to Steve Fenwick. Gareth Davies, there is an overlap here. Davies halfway through, couldn't link with Dave Richard. Now it's back to Fenwick. The referee has awarded a penalty. He was waiting for the advantage. He'd seen an offence as the ball was being won back following Squire's drive, and that could be a crucial decision, because this is a very important kick indeed for Steve Fenwick.
Well, that may have looked an age for the English supporters, but the referee was always waiting for the...
So Steve Fenwick's penalty goal off the upright gives Wales a very useful cushion at a crucial part of the match. 18 points to 13 they win. 14 minutes of the match to go.
As I was saying, the referee was waiting for Wales, who was in possession for a long time there, to see whether they would receive any advantage. But the decision was correct, and Mr. Anderson's having an excellent match this afternoon.
So it's here to restart with England backs to the wall. It's given Gareth Davies a lot of room and time. He doesn't need much. Oh, what a scotcher. Well, this is the man who's really, in a sense, controlled Welsh destiny this afternoon. Blakeway, Price and Bowman. Price with the catch, Brynmo Williams, Gareth Davies, Fenwick. Fenwick half caught by Cook, eventually caught by Scott. Squire takes it in. Now it's out to Lewis, the flanker. That was a lovely bit of work to Dave Richards, caught by Horton. Gives it on to Gareth Williams. A penalty for not releasing, and the first little flare of temper in the match. And you could see Brian Anderson in quickly. He's been right on the spot all the time. And that, I think, was again a bit of dangerous footwork. Here. Well, this man brought England back from the dead. This is the that little bit of stramash that we saw. Oh, goodness me, that was a very dangerous bit of footwork. I think Jeff Squire and obviously Phil Blakeway took exception to it. Lifting at the line-out, penalty to England. Now then, England, of course, need to try and a conversion, but Bill Bowman, no doubt, has had a look at the clock down at the bottom end. And so it's Dusty Hare who's already kicked 3 penalties and scored a try in this match. And what a marvellous scene here as Hare prepares to try and cut this deficit once again to 2 points. Well, he gave it a tremendous thump. It doesn't look too bad. It's there. What a magnificent kick. Really, you remember at Twickenham last season, he slotted the winning penalty goal, and he's really put England back in the match once again.
Well, Bill, these matches are always full of drama and tension, but never have England been as close as this for years. And going into the last 10 minutes, the pressure must be intense down there on the field.
So 18-16. 10 minutes of the match remaining. Gareth Davis forcing England again to drop out. And of course, a great way of gaining territorial advantage and of putting pressure on the opposition. John Horton. Up with Clive Davis. Colclough did well. Now it's a drive by John Scott, caught by Gareth Williams, feeds on to Steve Smith. Smith caught there by Rodri Lewis, almost up to halfway. The drive again by Bowman. Now it's Cook, the flanker, driving, and it's a penalty for preventing release. Yes, that little sign with a hand shows that they were going over the top and not allowing fair release of the ball. Austin Shepherd, the replacement, number 20 there. But Bill Bowman would enjoy that, because that's the kind of driving English forward play that won them the Grand Slam last season. Brief stoppage for this injury to John Scott, we think, but that really was a superb bit of English forward play. This is John Scott, I think, who's been hurt. Maurice Colclough, this giant of a man who came good on the British Lions tour. And so it's really going to boil to a tremendous finish.
Well, no side has really taken the game by the scruff of the neck, and of course now what is going to be decisive now is the one side that can keep the discipline, and we saw Wales losing that little bit of discipline in this instance.
Well, Dusty Hare is 1.5 meters inside his own half. And every Englishman in this Cardiff crowd, I'm sure, is holding his breath. Hare then. It's a long, long way. It's just short. JPR hasn't found touch. Drive there by Colclough. Carlton. Almost up to the 22. And this English team gaining new respect from the Welsh crowd, without any doubt, because they're showing that their experience of the Grand Slam last season has given them a confidence and a composure to come back from pressure. And they're really taking it to Wales at this stage. Through goes Wheeler as it's knocked back. On goes Colclough. Jeff Wheel trying to lead the counter-attack. I make it that we've about 8 minutes of actual playing time to go. 18 points to 16, Wales lead. Phillips using the middle. Down goes Clive Davies, but it was knocked forward and England will have the scrummage. Now if the England scrummage can hold, let's watch for John Scott and Steve Smith perhaps working something on that narrow side. Smith goes inside to John Scott, into the Welsh 22. The pick up and the drive by Colclough. Smith dummies, trying to find David Cook. Penalty. They're offside at the first breakdown, and it's a penalty to England. Dusty Hare. 4 penalty goals and a try in this match. The England record for points in an international is 22 by Lambert away back in 1911 against the Frenchman. This would give him 19 and it would put England into the lead. Here then, it's there. Keith Jarrett scored 19 points for Wales against England in 1967, and William Henry Hare has just slotted his 19th point in this match. 19-18 England lead. 6 minutes of the match to go. John Horton makes no mistake. Well, it's a test of stamina and it's a test of composure and it's a test of the ability to keep the skills going in this cauldron and under this tremendous stress. Midway between England 22 and halfway. Wales have it there from Stevens. Brynmore Williams hoists. Across comes Dusty Hare. Back go the English. John Carrollton makes a magnificent catch, because all of Wales was round about him there. But Wales have the advantage of the put-in. And they've produced some very good scrummage ball in this match. The Welsh backs out in midfield have already discussed what move they're going to try. There they are, they're just getting back into position for it. JPR out at centre, but it goes back to Gareth Davies, trying the drop goal. Back goes Hare, the referee beautifully positioned right under the post, just past that right-hand post. England still 1 point ahead. And John Horton takes his time, as one would expect him to do, making sure that there's no offside, just settling the team once again. John Scott, gathered in by Wheeler. 4 minutes of the match to go as Gareth Williams wins it to Brynmore Williams, to Gareth Davies, to Fenwick. Fenwick couldn't get it to Richards. He's caught there by Woodward. David Cook, the flanker, in there as well. Ball held. Wales going forward. They put in. 1 point in it, I tell you. 3.5 minutes of the match to go. Alan Phillips really has struck well. It says a lot for Ian Stevens, his prop. He's held him steady. Gareth Williams, Brynmore Williams, Gareth Davies. JPR was in the line. Steve Fenwick thinking of the drop goal. Caught there by Rafter. Brynmore Williams. He can run, but he's caught there by Horton. That was a good tackle. On the England 22, fed back again from Gareth Williams. David Richards, Steve Fenwick with the drop goal. Just under the bar. I tell you, it was close. The referee once again, little Brian Anderson, who's very sharp on his feet, was right there. So John Horton once more taking his time. Knocked back and gathered in there from Beaumont to Wheeler. 2 minutes of the match remaining. 19 points to 18. I tell you, all those Englishmen down there on the ground and in the crowd must be thinking, could it possibly be 1963 once again, the last time England won here? But the Coral Legions are looking to lift Wales for one last great final effort. And there's Clive Davis, number 4, the Welsh try scorer. And the referee quite rightly keeping the front rows apart until everybody's settled. Pick up again by Scott. Offside. Amazing how often it's Bill Beaumont, number 4, who burrows in like a gigantic mole and works the ball clear. So it's Dusty Hare. It's not a long kick by Dusty Hare, but he's found his touch, and he really has had a tremendous game. Wales have reduced their line out. They've brought Rodri Lewis out as an extra centre, so clearly they're going to run this. Bill Beaumont may have noticed it. Cole Clough going through. Now they've got an extra man. Gareth Davis, Steve Fenwick. That was David Richards. Richards caught in midfield. Robert Ackerman. Ackerman to Fenwick. Now it goes to JPR. This is Brynmore Williams. John Horton waits. Dusty Hare called. His kick charged down. The drive on by JPR Williams into the England 22. Is this going to be a dramatic finish to it? Referee deciding the ball was held. We are going into injury time with Wales pressing desperately for a score that would give them a dramatic victory. A brief injury over here. Graham Price, number 3, the injured Welshman. Just an accidental clash of heads, perhaps. And the Englishman, I think, is Dusty Hare. Just as he tried to get his kick in, the half charge down. Well, it really has been a game of dramatic incident. This was one of them, without a doubt, for England. Dusty Hare trying to get his kick in and just tackled fairly there by Graham Price, and both being hurt in the process. Notice here that if the ball had gone to hand just a bit quicker, or if JPR had been able to flip that up, who knows, it could have been a try to Wales. Certainly a tremendous mass of red jerseys there. So Don Gatherer and Jerry Lewis tending once again, as they've done for a good few years now.
It'll be a pity if Dusty Hare, the England hero of the day, won't be able to finish off the game, because 1918 obviously has signified a famous Welsh victory in recent years, and this could be the sign of a famous English victory today at Cardiff Arms Park.
So we've played a minute and a half of injury time. Welsh scrummage again, delivering the goods just like a conveyor belt. Brynmore Williams makes a little move to try and catch them offside. Gareth Williams caught by Mike Rafter, but the referee has seen them offside. The England midfield had advanced too far, and this is the most dramatic moment of the whole match. That little run by Brynmore Williams, the little dummy run, the hold-in by Gareth Williams, has given Steve Fenwick this chance to win the game for Wales. It's there. It wasn't his best kick, but Wales go ahead by 21 points to 19, and I make it that they've played 2.5 minutes of injury time. Steve Fenwick's 5th successful kick of the match, 4 penalties and a conversion. 21 points to 19 for Wales. Hare restarts, Clive Davis catches, now it's Gareth Williams. Referee looking at his watch. There has been a bit of injury time in the second half, but the whole of Wales is telling him that time should be up. England have cut to 2, and so the Welsh are allowed to withdraw. Goldclough wins it, Smith to Horton, along the line to Bowman, inside there to Rafter. Now, of course, the pressure now is on the Welsh backs, because if they infringe, they could give England a chance to kick a goal. Almost 3.5 minutes of injury time played as Steve Smith waits, gets it from Scott, out to John Horton. Horton a little shimmy inside, half slip, looks for John Scott again. Scott charging on, out to Carlton. Tremendous bid by the English to pull the game back once more, and it's a penalty for not allowing clearance. Well, Brian Anderson has accepted no dissent whatsoever in this match, and that's clearly a penalty to England. And Bill Bowman gives Dusty Hare a little pat on the cheek, as if to say, good luck, lad, or for God's sake, kick it. Really, it's been such a topsy-turvy match in so many ways, and you can see the tension on Bill Bowman's face there, and yet a marvellously philosophic character. And here's the lad who's kicked 19 points for England and really has been their hero of the match. And yet, what a moment for him. Remember last season at Twickenham, he had a penalty goal in the last second to win it for England, and he kicked it then. Can Dusty Hare do the same once more? A big deep breath, a little shimmy, boom, low, but hooked. Ackerman couldn't hold it. The referee's whistle goes for the end of the match, and Wales have won the most remarkable victory for many, many a long day.